Eel Pie, the tiny islet in the Thames, is not too a long walk from Twickenham Stadium within hollering distance, almost, if you have that kind of voice. And if anywhere could lay claim to being the nursery that provided the perfect growing conditions for the Rolling Stones, then Eel Pie and the Craw Daddy in Richmond would be it. Mick Jagger name-checked them both during the gig, and George Melly once said of its legendary music venue, "You could see sex rising from Eel Pie like steam from a kettle." That head of steam pumped out the 1960s spirit of sex and liberation into the local and then global atmosphere, engendering the climate change of the 60s and all its cultural revolutions. Some 55 years later, that head of steam still use the atmosphere in Twickenham Stadium as the Stones brought their latest UK tour to a close with a raw and ragged, passionate and engaged final bow to their fans and to their own legacy. From this no-filter tour's start at the London Stadium a month ago, they have driven their train hard through Coventry, Southampton, Manchester, Edinburgh and Cardiff, 7 dates in all, more than any UK jaunt of theirs since 1971, and shown the 70,000 or so fans at each venue exactly why they remain the first and last word when it comes to rock and roll and its founding spirit of self-liberation. From the crashing opening chords of Street Fighting Man through to the extended, frenzied rave-up that was satisfaction for a final 11-minute encore. This was a masterclass in ragged glories, often teetering on the brink of chaos, but always pulling and pulling it together to raise that head of team and the push and pull of a group interplay that can't be faked. James Bay, the night's opener, guested on a beautiful beast of burden that rose up from its faltering first steps to be among the night's most memorable, with Richards at times substituting the riff with a series of rolling jazz inflected chords, little gestures that put the song into a spin without toppling it over. He did this a lot, even on the back end of rockers like Stuff Our Team Up, and as well as cutting off some monumental, extremely loud solos. His playing throughout was a masterclass in astute minimalism driven by an inner clockwork and sense of timing that must extend down to the atomic. Those hands don't work as they once did, of course, and there were bum note aplenty, but what's torn and frayed is overarched by a cool, casual raggedness and precision that no other player possesses, and which would why get him sacked from lesser, duller bands, which is why they are not the Rolling Stones. Passionate, committed and clearly out to pleasure themselves and then their audience, and how can we resist? There was a deep joy to be taken from those flashes on the big screens of Jagger's delighted smile at some audacious band moment when it all falls together and the hairs rise on the back of your neck. Highlights: how about the ecstatic, extended PL out at the back end of Painted Black, or the hypnotic riffs circulating through Tumbling Dice as if they were its lifeblood? Ronnie Wood was in top form throughout, shredding spectacular solos on a vivid, pulverizing Midnight Rambler and weaving a beautiful tapestry of sound with Key Vaughan, the likes of Before They Make Me Run and Start Me Up, which is what the Stones are all about, each of them rolling easy as much as they rocked hard. It's what creates that head of steam. 55 years on, it feels like a miracle that this band remains so potent, so into it, rangy out nuances from songs so familiar they should be husks rather than the living, breathing beings they are. The last goodbye, I'm gonna miss you goo. Keith says at one point, and it looks like he's about to say more, but doesn't or can't. It's been 6 years since they played the UK, and if leave it another 6. Jagger WILLLB 80, Charlie Watts 83. When words fail, let the music speak for itself, perhaps, and let the music speak for self. More music reviews on Darts Disc. Let that sink in.